Alrighty, well, this is my son's 2000 Ford Ranger. It's a two-wheel drive version, and he got this for $100 from a friend, and it was wrecked in the front and the back. So we did we put some parts on it to make it usable. It's his work truck. All right, he uses it to haul stuff and get back and forth to work. The reason why it was worth it is because a friend of ours rebuilt the motor right before it was wrecked. So it effectively has a brand new motor in it. Now, he said, oh, it's wandering a little bit and jumpy on the road. So we went to look at tie rod ends and ball joints and stuff. And as you can see, I mean, they're just completely annihilated. Every bushing is just wore out. I don't think it's been, I mean, other than maybe a little service here and there, I don't think it's been serviced like full front end stuff. So we have been doing brakes and stuff like that, but I mean, he should get some shocks too, so we might have to do that. Anyway, we ordered some parts online. So basically, this is what I would call a full front end. We're going to get some shocks, but full front end rebuild. But upper and lower control arms. This is some of them have torsion bars. This guy's on springs. So if you're working on yours, be mindful of that when you order parts. You can get either torsion bar lower control arms or spring lower control arms. This one's on springs. I don't know which one's better. When somebody has an opinion, I'm sure. But all of these parts. So we got upper and lower control arms for both sides. We got the steering component, the power steering. I can't remember what they're called. But they go into the power steering so that it's nice and tight with new boots for that. Plus the sway bar end links and all new tie rod ends and ball joints. So the ball joints came pre-installed, which is really nice. But we ordered two kits. So one kit had all of the parts except for the lower control arms. And if you ordered just the lower control arms, you could in this kit, the upper control arm kit that came with everything except for the lower control arm, they sent the ball joints for the lower control arm. But I wanted to replace these bushings also. And if you buy these bushings, it's I don't know, like $20 more to get the loaded lower control arm, and you don't have to press those in. And right now my press is out in the snow, so I was like, $20, that saves some work. But so all the parts are gonna be replaced, and we're just getting started. I just pulled the wheels off. So basically we're going to take everything off. So let's see if I can get a decent look at that. So this guy, so behind this curtain here, curtain number one is, come on up there, buddy. It's a little cold. But you can see there's a joint there to take out, bolt there to take out. There's bolts here to take out, up there. Same thing over here. And then we'll take this boot off, which seems pretty good. It's kind of nice, but these might not be bad, but we're going to replace them anyway since we got a new. He's going to have to get a front end alignment anyway. This looks like it might have been replaced, to be honest with you, because that looks like a new one. But we're going to take this guy off. Take the spindle off. The brake's loose. Spindle off. Lower control arm, upper control arm. The sway bar end link here. And then put it all back together. I kind of looked at the parts to make sure they look like the right pieces, and they do look like the right pieces. So maybe it'll be easy. We will have to go to AutoZone to get some shocks, and we'll do that after we get stuff torn apart and compared to make sure we got the right pieces, because he does his Saturday, and we're gonna try and get it done for Monday's work. Oh, anyway, that's what we're up to. I'll get them tore apart and start comparing parts and show you what's up. I almost forgot. Most important thing, first thing you want to do once you get the wheel off, obviously, spray all the bolts down that you're going to touch with a PV Blaster, because yeah, these things been on for a minute, and you want to make sure you And don't be stripping stuff off, because that's difficult. Anyway, that's the first thing I did. Now we're gonna let that set for a few minutes. I just hit every bolt, every nut, even this guy. Not up in there because I haven't taken the boot off, but we should be all right with that. Anyway, hit them all and let them set for a minute just to help loosen stuff up. All right. Well, it's always cool to see stuff all torn apart. Everything came apart relatively easy. The steering rack, this guy right here, was on there pretty tight. I think they're supposed to be, but they're pretty tight. I had to get underneath and really put some pressure on it. The other small problem I had was, let's see if I can set this in there. This guy right here, bolted right there, and it was just corroded and crusted and was not coming apart. You can see where I put vice grips on it. Put vice grips down there, they slid. Put vice grips there, it didn't come off. So I just cut it with a Sawzall. It's getting replaced anyway, all new rubbers and stuff, so I checked to make sure the other one was the correct length before I tore it apart, and then I just whacked it with the Sawzall. It didn't hurt nothing, so sometimes it's just easier to do stuff violently. This bolt, I said earlier that I didn't think somebody had put this together, but this bolt here was actually put through this way. I don't know if you can see that. See? It hit the pipe when it was coming out. So they must have put it in or swapped this out at some time. This thing's got like a 200,000 on it, the original chassis. But then I know they did the motor, so I wonder if they took this exhaust manifold off and then put this on and then go, you know, and it didn't bother them, but it wouldn't come out. So I had to pound it and twist and pull. So I'm going to put it in this way. It's the same. It's just got the surrounding in the slot. Surrounding in the slot. I just hit my head. But it should be all right. I'm going to put it in the other way when we go in with it. It seems it's the right thing to do. But to show what's going on here, I mean, those things are done. They're done. It's like, it's not even. And this one, it's not so bad. It's got some, it's moving, but it's still nowhere as stiff as the new ones. So yeah, I think we'll be, I checked the length here too. Looks like they're gonna be lined out. So yeah, we got this one side apart, relatively easy. Like I said, the only thing I did was, the only thing I had to do abnormal was cut that, and then that bolt was in backwards. I want to check the other side too to see if it's in the same way. But probably just brush some of this dusty dirtiness off, and brush some dusty dirtiness off, and then reassemble, see how it looks. Get this one done today, and then finish up tomorrow maybe, or maybe I'll get the other side taken apart. Who knows? I'm already dirty, so there's that. Alrighty, I'll keep rolling. Well, guys, that's about 2 hours of the work, hour each side. Nothing worried about. I had to cut this shock off, which is no big deal. Just watch that line. And then I cut this one off just like the other side. The sway bar end link. I got the rubber bumpers off, the old ones. And I'm not going to replace those. They're pretty good shape. And I kept all the other stuff is outside. I kept the steering stuff left and right specific so that I can try and adjust those the same length and get them close. I mean, it's gonna have to go for an alignment, but I got these, the only ones that O'Reilly's had in stock. They were $89, I think, a piece. So looking good though, so that'll solve that problem. And that's both sides, so I'll take a break, pick up tomorrow, and clean it up just a little bit, not too much. I'm gonna get crazy, like I said, it's a work truck, and then we'll put all these new parts on, see if we can get it somewhat, you know, rough aligned, and then we'll be good to go. Just now putting the wheels on. Assembly was opposite of removal as normal stuff. No surprises. Got all the new stuff on. Oh, let me get my light. Sorry guys. Got all the new stuff on. The order was critical. Obviously you put the upper and lower control arms in. Then set the spring in. It's got a neat little clip that holds it in place. You just jack it up, because when you take it off, the spring is completely neutral. You let the lower control arm swing all the way down, and the spring just falls out. It doesn't pop out. But opposite, you put it in with the lower control arm, upper control arm, and then you set your spring in place. Make sure you got the end of the spring aligned in the cat and also the foot. And then once you do that, you just put a board underneath it right here, and the jack, and then when you jack it up, you can get you got to leave enough room so you can get the shock in, and the shock will hold it. Once you get the top bolt and the two bottom nuts in the shock, it'll hold the control arms from shooting down and releasing the spring again. And then you can bolt your spindle back on. So you start with the bottom nut, and then push it up into this thing with the jack, and then put this guy in. It helps to tap this with a hammer to slide that in, because it'll bounce down, up and down, up and down, and it just lets you slide that in really easy with your finger as you're tapping with the hammer. The other thing is, don't connect one side of the sway bar and then do the other. Set them all up, put it through the hole, and then do the same thing on the other side. And then you kind of have to have two people lift it up, put it in the hole, and then put the nuts and washers on the bottom. If you don't do it that way, then you won't be able to lift it up on the other side to get it into this hole. Kind of a pain. And these things we just match side to side for length. They'll adjust them when they do the alignment, but we tried to get them close, and I didn't put any connectors on any of those guys on, because it didn't come with them, and they can do that at the deal for you. We'll make sure to ask them at the alignment shop. We'll make sure to ask them. Okay, go ahead and put your tire on. Now we're just putting the tires back on, and we'll set it down and torque them, and then it's off to the alignment shop. We put it together in less than 2 hours. We kind of hurried because the alignment shop said, yeah, we can fit you Sunday. We can fit you in today if you get here before 3 or at 3. So it's like 15 till 3 now. So we got like 10 minutes to torque these guys, get off the jacks, and then drive it away. So we're mounting only have a single one. We didn't get a thin bar, but this is what we ended up with. So it's gonna go. We laid the grill in. I don't know if you can see that mark. You'll be able to see it like that. See that mark right there, Sharpie? That's where the center. Then we held up the light and centered it in the grill, and then we made a mark. And then we moved back here and figured out where to mount this bar. So it's going to go in like this. Something like that, only straight up and down. It'll bolt to the firewall, and that hole, and that hole. Now I have spacers, so there's the front back of the light, so it can only go back that far. It hits the grill, but it can only go so forward. So we have it centered, so it'll be like that. What we did is we cut spacers out of an alternator spacer, so they go right in there, and then we drilled the holes for the light. So there's the hole for the mounting it to the firewall, or I'm sorry, the core support, and that's for the light. That's for the future light. That's for the light we're going to mount now. And that's for the light we're going to mount now. That's for the firewall. So I'll show you in just a second. Figured we had to put some paint on it so it wouldn't rust. And then we'll bolt it in. Black, it's hard to see on the black, but. And we put our spacers under there to hold it up off the thing. Yep. We'll see how it goes together. Yep, so here's the bracketry. Bolted it through there. And then there's nothing in the center, but we pre-drilled